Good morning to all. So, today we are going to discuss about digital transmissions, which is chapter 4 in first unit of your data communication and computer networks. So, already we have seen what are analog signals and what are digital signals. How can we represent an analog signal and digital signal, and what are different types of data transmission or network models, either OSI reference model or TCP IP reference model, different types of layers in each network model. And next, coming to the physical layer structure, which always transmits the data in form of either signals. There may be either analog signal or digital signal. So data may be represented in signal format. If that is analog signal, there is no carrier. If that is a digital signal, we have to use a carrier for transmission. So when we are transmitting the data in any one of the signal formats, there may be number of amplifiers and also repeaters we are using at intermediate station to strengthen the signal. So here we are going to discuss how can we represent data in form of a digital signal when we are transmitting the data in digital format. So first one, digital to digital conversion. How can we convert a digital signal into another digital signal format? By adding some encoding bits to data patterns. So in this section, we see how we can represent digital data by using digital signals. The conversion of digital data into a digital signal involves two types of coding methods. Those are line coding and block coding. Line coding is always necessary for digital signal, but block coding that may or may not be necessary. If there is a necessity for encoding or encryption, we can go for block coding. Next, coming to line coding. Line coding always used for representing the signal and converting the data we are representing in the signal in form of either zeros or ones. So, line coding converting a string of ones and zeros into a sequence of signals that denote the ones and zeros. For example, a high level voltage positive could represent a 1 and a low level voltage negative could represent a 0 in the signal. So already we have seen the digital signal. The digital signal may be having an up and down format. So positive means in the positive quadrant, that is in first quadrant. Negative means in the second quadrant. Next we are going to see how can a digital line coding and decoding connect. So here you can see in this diagram, we are sending a stream of digital data, that is zeros and ones, from sender station, that is converted in form of encoded format of digital data with the help of an encoder. So already we have seen the structure of digital signal, that is up and downs. So each sample represents either 0 or 1. So here there may be zeros and ones that can be carried through this format. So this is the digital signal transmitted through the link we are using, that may be a physical cable or any carrier. And next, at the receiver end, a decoder is used again to convert this digital signal by removing the encoded extra bits and reproducing the original data and transmitting that to the receiver. So this is the actual structure of digital data transmission, format of digital data transmission. So here encoder and decoders are used for encryption and decryption of data. And next, mapping data symbols onto signal levels. A data symbol that may consist of either single bit or more than one bit. That is nothing but a sample in a digital signal that can carry. So already here we have seen a sample. This sample that may carry either one bit or more than one bit at a time. Already I have told in the earlier classes. So we can represent 1 bit or 2 bits or 3 bits, etc. depending on the amount of data. So similarly here each data symbol that may be either 1 bit or 2 bits. A data symbol can be coded into a signal element using the bit value. If that is 1 positive, 0 negative, or 1 positive and negative, 0 negative and positive, that is different representations. Then again we are in the next coming representations we can see how can we represent a sample that can consist either both 0 and 1 or maybe either 0 or 1, but that is nothing but we are not statistically defining a format for 0 or a format for 1. Here, depending on the voltage levels up and downs, we can consider the signal that can carry either 0 or 1. If the voltage that is coming from positive to negative, that is 1 bit, or from negative to positive, that is 0 bit, that is one type of line coding. In another line codings, we can use statistically, that is nothing but 1 up is 1 and down is, that is negative, is 0. So here you can see if this is 0 in the first mapping and this is 1 in the first mapping and this is 0 in the second mapping. But when we are using the second method, up to, that is from positive to negative, that is from here to here, that is 1. From here to here, that is 0. That is from negative to positive is 0. Positive to negative is 1. That is another type of line coding methods. Here we can use different types of methods for representing the data. So for that one, here we are using the mappings depending on the depending on the type of the method we are using. Either we can use either single bit or double bit, or we can use voltage level representations up and downs, or directly assigning either positive for 1 or negative for 0. That is the mapping representation. Next, relationship between data rate and signal rate. Data rate always defines the number of bits sent per second, that is bits per second. How many number of bits we are transmitting per second time interval. We can also call this as the bit rate. Signal rate is the number of samples or signals we are sending per second. That is the signal rate. So signal rate is not always equal to data rate. If the carrier that is holding only 1 bit for signal, then both are same. If the carrier consists of more than 1 bit per signal, then data rate is not equivalent to signal rate. If that carries 1 bit, number of signals are equivalent to number of data bits. If that carries more than 1 bit, then automatically signal rate is, data rate is double than the signal rate. So depending on the amount of data we are representing per signal, we can calculate signal rate. Data rate is nothing but number of bits we are representing per signal, that is number of bits we are transmitting per time interval. So we are signal rate and data rate both are not same. If the signal that is carrying more than 1 bit, signal rate is, data rate is greater than the signal rate. If that carries 1 bit, then data rate is equivalent to signal rate. Next, signal versus data elements. So here you can see we are representing 0, that is 1, 0, 1, 1 sample. But here and in another type of line method, line coding representations, we are representing up and down representations, that is voltages from positive to negative and negative to positive, inversions in the signal. But here this is an example for the first one, either 1 is positive, 0 is negative, and this is for second one, that is positive to negative and negative to positive representations for 1 and 0. And here the signal that is carrying more than 1 bit, same representations for more than 1 bit values here. Next, data rate and baud rate. Baud rate is also called as signal rate, which can be expressed as x equal to c into n into 1 by r bars, where n is the data rate, c is the case factor, that is worst, best and average, r is the ratio between data element and signal element. So this is the calculation, that is the number of signals we are transmitting. Signal rate can be calculated as c into n into 1 by r, that is the ratio between data element and signal element, and C is the case factor and N is the data rate. Next, an example problem here we can see. A signal is carrying data in which one data element is encoded as one signal element. So, one data element is encoded as one signal element means R equal to 1 by 1, which is equivalent to 1. If the bit rate is 100 kilobits per second, what is the average value of the baud rate if C is between 0 and 1? So, here you can substitute, calculate the already bit rate is given and ratio value is given. And C value is given, C is between 0 and 1. So, C into N into 1 by R equal to 1 by 2 into, that is C, we are assuming between 0 and 1, that is 0.5, into N, that is nothing but 100 kilobits per second. 100 kilobits means 100 into 1000. So 100 into 1000 into R equal to 1, that is ratio between signal and data, both are same, 1 by 1. So R equal to 1, 1 by 1 equal to 1. So 1 lakh divided by 2, that is 50,000. 50,000 bauds are 50 kilobauds. So using this one, using the bit rate, we can calculate either baud rate or the signal rate using this formula. Next, DC components. That is, before going to line coding methods, first we have to check DC components means voltage level representations. So, when the voltage level remains constant for long periods of time, there is an increase in the low frequencies of the signal. Most channels are band pass and may not support the lower frequencies. So, DC component means direct connect component. This is used in electronics because here we are representing the signal using the voltage level. So, always you have to check whether the voltage levels are either positive to negative or negative to positive, or those are continuously existing in the same level. That is either continuously positive or continuously negative. So, DC component calculation come most important in representing the signal. So, when the signal is continuous period, then we cannot calculate whether that is either negative or positive. If there may be up and downs, then that we can calculate the frequency values equally. So, DC component means representing the voltage levels in the signal representation and increasing the low frequencies of the signal. If the signal is constant means not altering for longer period of time intervals. So, this will require the removal of direct current component of the transmitted signal. So, you have to remove the DC component and we can use the self-synchronization. That is, instead of using the DC component, we can use self-synchronized clocks. By setting the time interval, automatically the voltage levels can be altered. Depending on that, we can fix the signal and send the data. So, self-synchronization always assists to the data transmissions in an effective way. The clock at the sender and receiver must have the same bit interval. If the receiver clock is faster or slower, it will misinterpret the incoming bits. So, self-synchronization always uses the voltage levels that should be streamlined at the receiver end and also sender end. Automatically, data transmissions may be equal. If the data transmissions are unequal, automatically data may be misinterpreted. So, this is representing effect of lack of synchronization. If we are not using any synchronized clocks, then the transmitting signal automatically, if that is received at the receiver with the number of increased samples, here you can see the number of bits are 8, but at the receiver end, if the number of clocks are not set with equal time intervals, automatically this can receive 12 bits instead of 8 bits. Because sample representation at the sender end may be changed. It may not be equivalent at the receiver end. Automatically, the misinterpretation of data should exist. So, that one we have to use the synchronization. That is equal time intervals for transmission of data. Next, line coding methods. So, line coding error detection. Errors occur during transmission due to line impairments. Impairments already we have seen previously. Different types of problems that are occurring in the lines, that is due to physical damages in carriers or due to noise disturbances in analog transmissions, and different types of problems that may occur at the intermediate stations or during transmission. So some codes are constructed such that when an error occurs, it can be detected. So we are using different types of error detection codes. So we have to add those codes including the data. Automatically those codes can correct and identify and correct the errors during transmission that may not occur at the receiver end. So we have to use the error correction in line coding methods. So coming to the line coding methods, there are different types of line coding methods: unipolar, polar, bipolar, multi-level and multi-transition. These are the different types of line coding methods. So coming to the unipolar line coding method, all signal levels are on one side of the time axis, either above or below. That is already in previous slides we have seen the either positive or negative. 1 may be positive, 0 may be negative, or 0 may be positive or 1 may be negative, means 1 up or 1 down. That is represented for 1 bit. That is the unipolar. All signal levels are on one side of the time, either above or below. So non-return to 0 scheme is an example of this code. The signal level does not return to 0 during a symbol transmission. In this one, we can come from positive to negative voltage or from negative to positive voltage, but we should not come to neutral level. That is the unipolar coding method. Example for unipolar, you can see here 1 up, that is 1 positive and down, and again up and down, but we are not coming to 0 level representation. So normalized power half v square plus half of 0 square, that is the equal to half v square. Unipolar non-return 0 scheme. So here we are not coming from 0 to down. Here we are representing 1. If that is coming down, that is 0, and up, that is 1. So here we are representing 2 zeros and 2 ones in this normalized representation. Unipolar coding methods currently we are not using because there are number of that is power representations that may come to neutral state, and also this signal that has representation that may last volumes of data, because one sample can carry only 1 bit. Instead of that, simply we can use this one sample, that is 1 bit sample, for 2 bits also. So for that one we are removing this unipolar coding methods and we are going to the next coding methods. And we can see those coding methods in next class.